Hi guys, it's Tom here from Tom's Racing Tips. Welcome back to my channel. So as Royal Ascot this week, I'm going to be looking back over the last 5 days and mentioning horses that I think caught my eye and I think could win next time out. So you could put them in your tracker. So looking towards the main of the group races, but the St James's Palace to start there on the Tuesday. Now, Caribus won. I did tip him for the race. He was at odds-on favourite, so he went and did the job. He has lots of people's bankers for their accumulators this week. Now, I think he's definitely better than winning margin suggests. He did get lucky to get an inside run up the rail with William Buick, who gave him a great ride. He's definitely a very game, genuine horse, very talented. So I do think he's probably better than the winning margin suggests. The only other horse I'd pick out from that race would be Maljoom. Now, he caught a lot of people's eyes. He got no run at all, and he was flying home, and probably with another few hundred yards he would have won the race. Kieran Fallon was very unlucky. He strikes me as a typical William Haggis progressive miler, so I do think Maljoom is definitely one to be backing next time. You just don't know where his limit is yet. But I do think Caribus and Maljoom were the only two horses to really take out the race. And I do think they're the ones to follow going forward. I do think they're well clear of the rest. So yeah, if that race was to be run again, I do think you see those two pull well clear if they had clear runs. Now also on the Tuesday in the last race, I think it was the 1 mile 6 handicap in the Copper Horse, Cleveland finished second for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. Now I think Cleveland, he will win next time over 2 miles. He was staying on again over mile 6, but it just wasn't far enough. His previous victory was at Chester over 2.25 miles around that tight track, so the drop back half mile didn't suit him, but he still ran a really good race to finish second in a very competitive handicap. But I do think Cleveland, next time he steps up in trip, he will go and win, so hopefully they keep him at 2 miles or even further, as he's already proven. So I do think Cleveland is definitely one to back next time. Hopefully they step him up in trip. Now I'll go to Wednesday. Now the first race in the Queen Mary dramatised one for Burke and Tanny Tudhope. So I do think she looks very, very talented. Did it very easily in the end. She was heavily supported, which is a good sign as I think she's a very good horse at home. She could be anything. I'm assuming she could go for the 1,000 guineas next year. That could be her aim for next season, but she could be anything, and she definitely wants to keep on the right side of. Very impressed by her. Just ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't do anything wrong, keeps it very simple from the front. And she's definitely a Group 1 filly in making. Now, my bank for the week was Bay Bridge on Wednesday. I know he finished second by about a length. Now, Ryan Moore, he got top jockey this week, as you probably know. Been riding unbelievably, but I do think his ride on Bay Bridge, he would love to have it again. I thought he gave him too much to do turning in. State of Rest, Shane Cross gave it a great ride in front, had a freebie really, and just he stole it from the front, I think. So I think if that race was run again, I think Bay Bridge would definitely come out on top. So it was disappointing that Bay Bridge didn't win on Wednesday, but I'm still not giving up hope on him. I still think he's super talented, and I do think they will just... he needs a bit of more of a sterner test. So he has options going forwards as where he could go. He could go back for the Eclipse at Sandown, where he's good record at the course, but they might step him up in trip. So he has loads of options open to him, and wherever he goes, I'll be backing him, because I do think under different tactics and a different how the race pans out, that I think Bay Bridge will win. I think he's one of the best horses around at the middle distances, so I'm very excited to see him run again. I'm not giving up on Bay Bridge at all, even though he only finished second. He was my bank for the week. I'm still excited to see how he does going forward. So you can't give up on a horse after one run, after getting beat. People jump off horses too quickly. They're not machines or robots, so they are allowed to get beat from time to time. But I do think Bay Bridge, under different tactics, and I think Ryan Moore will know that he probably should have raced close to the pace on Wednesday, but I still think Bay Bridge is definitely a horse to back next time. Now also on Wednesday, Little Big Bear ran for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. He only just won in the end over 5 furlongs. He seems a really strong horse though, big horse, and I do think he will develop a lot going forward. The fact he's winning these races now is a great sign. I just think there's so much improvement to come from him over 5 furlongs. I don't think he quite wants 6 furlongs right now, but maybe next season when he's more mature, stronger, he'll get So definitely think he's a sprinter that will be going places next season. So definitely keep on the right side of him. And I think the sprinting division's quite weak at the minute, so it wouldn't take a lot to get involved in that division, I believe, as it's shown by the Australian horse vaulting up by about 4 lengths in the King Stands on the first day. So I do think the sprint division is very weak, and the Little Big Bear next season is definitely one to follow when he's a 3-year-old. So very excited to see what he does. Now, the Gold Cup, Kyprios won it well in the end. I do think Stradivarius was unlucky. Frankie Golfin didn't make any complaints, but I do think with a clear run, Stradivarius probably could have won. Kyprios is definitely the young horse in the division to obviously follow, but I do think if Trushan runs on the soft ground, he beats them all by miles. I do think Trushan is probably the best stay around still, even with Kyprios improving. So it's a shame that Trushan didn't run and the ground went against him, but Trushan for me, when he faces Kyprios, and hopefully do at some point this season, with soft ground as Richmond, I think Trushan wins. So I will be backing Trushan over Kyprios going forward. Also, I'd like to mention a horse called Claymore that beat Reach for the Moon. Now, he's done very little wrong. He's only been beaten in France for their guineas. Nothing went right that day, and so he seems to want good to firm ground, I think. But he's done nothing wrong really in his career. So I think he just Reach for the Moon just wasn't good enough, even though he was really short odds for the race. I think Claymore was just a better horse, and he could actually be open to lots of improvements, stepping up a little bit in trip, maybe to 1.5 miles, as he stayed really strongly. So I think Claymore's quite interesting after him winning the Hampton Court Stakes. I thought Reach for the Moon was the bang for the race. I did back Claymore without Reach for the Moon. I thought it was a good price and thought he'd come second regardless of what else was in the race. So I do think Claymore, and he did surprise me, him going and beating him, Reach for the Moon that well. So I think Claymore's interesting, and he just hasn't done anything wrong yet. So I don't think you can criticise him at all. He's only really beat what's in front of him, apart from when he had that one off day. But like I said, they're all allowed to have an off day, and I think Claymore is definitely a progressive type. Now, I did tip for my members Perfect Power on Friday in the Commonwealth Cup. He's just a top class 6 furlong sprinter. He stays extremely strongly over the trip. I think he's an absolute standout. I was there at Ascot on Friday. It's fantastic to see him power on. I was standing at the half furlong pole, and he was literally in line with them. He hadn't even hit the front yet. So the fact that he went and won by over a length, I think is very good indicator that he's a very strong start at 6 furlong, and he'd be tough to beat on good firm ground. He does go on any ground, it looks like, but I think he's better on better ground. But I do think Perfect Power is the best 6 furlong horse probably around at the minute in my eyes. So I do think he's exciting to watch and just follow going forward. I couldn't believe that he was 9-2 on the day. So members, brilliant profit on that race. So that was a good one. Also, I tipped another winner on that day was Candleford for William Haggis and Tom Marquand. Now, he was clearly a stone well in. I was taking a chance that he was well handicapped, and that's why they hadn't run him all season, which is clearly what had happened. So that was good little pick there for my members. I think I've got him at around 15-2. Never looked in doubt up the home straight. Tom Marquand gave a brilliant ride. One of the best jockeys round, like I've said for a while now. But Candleford, I would be careful with him next time. I do think he wants good to firm ground. Looking at his form, he's definitely obviously progressive, and I think the E-ball's been mentioned for him. He only carried 8 stone 12 the other day. He was so well handicapped. I would be careful when he goes up a stone into better company whether he can do that. So wouldn't get carried away with him. I think that might have been his day in the sun, but definitely a progressive type, and that was a good winning tip for our members as well. Now, Inspiral was, I think, one of probably the best performances of the whole week. Now, I've got to hold my hands up. I got her wrong on my last video. I thought she would struggle. I thought she had too many setbacks this season. But Inspiral was phenomenal. She just is unbelievable. She's 5 from 5 now. And her and Homeless Songs, I think, are so far clear of all the other fillies in the mile division. Be fascinating if those two get to race each other at some point. Couldn't actually tell you which one's going to come out top. I'd like to side with Homeless Songs if it was softer ground, but Inspire will look phenomenal on Friday, so it'd be hard to. They both look very good in their last performance, but Inspire was probably my most noticeable pick of the whole week, I think. And Frankie, it was his only winner, but I'm sure he enjoyed that one. And she was well supported, so you could tell before the off that the team fancied her to run well. So I got her wrong. I thought the setbacks would not be good for her, but she proved me wrong, and definitely think she could win next time. Hopefully if Homeless Songs avoids her, because I think Homeless Songs beats anyone else in the division. The only other horse I'm going to mention from the week is Holloway Boy, who won the Chesham on Saturday. He was 40-1. I think he could have got 120 minutes at some point as well in the mornings. He was unraced, so it's very... He did not tick any of the boxes for the Chesham, being unraced. Extremely hard thing to do, winning any race at Royal Ascot on your first ever career run. So I think you can massively upgrade his performance. It looked a decent race going into it. I think a lot of the fancied horses flopped, so wouldn't get carried away with the form as an 81 finished second and a 33-1 finished third. But he did it really cosily in the end, really easily, and he didn't even look like he had that much of a blow after the race. So I do think he's definitely a Group 1 horse in making. Whether he's a champion, too early to tell yet, but definitely a Group 1 horse in making, I'd say. So Holloway Boy, very exciting going forward for the team, and I definitely think that was a mighty impressive performance to do that on debut with Tudhope, who had 4 winners this week, so he rode brilliantly. Ryan Moore's ride on Rohan, I'd just like to mention that one. He probably one of the best rides I've seen in a long time. He was patient, got the gap up the rail, very lucky to get the gap, but timed it to perfection. And he won very well in the end, I thought. And Ryan Moore's just been on fire all week. Apart from the ride on Bay Bridge, he's just been brilliant, and he has been all season. So if Ryan Moore's riding Ascot, so is William Buick. He was riding very well at Ascot this week. So Ryan and William Buick and Danny Tudhope were just brilliant, and I thought they rode a lot better than a lot of the other jockeys. Now guys, for my membership, I'm plus 81 points now for 2022. So a brilliant profit so far this year for my members. It's only £20 a month to sign up. There'll be a link to my website in the description below. So message me if you've got any questions about what my membership entails. I have a brand new members area on my website where I post all my daily tips each day, along with horses to follow, anti-post tips, and any fun bets, for example darts, football that I fancy, as if you're looking for some extra bets. But it's only £20 a month sign up. I'm plus 81 points this year, so it's a good profit, and all of the tips I post up are all based on the research that I study each day. So it's all form selections, no inside info, it's just all based on the form that I look at. So all the picks by myself. So hopefully you guys want to sign up and join a membership group, get involved with all the winning tips, and I'll see you all next time.